Despite dominating Real Madrid throughout the second leg of the Champions League quarter-final, Chelsea have gone back to London with nothing to show for their efforts. The game at the Santiago Bernabeu was a great bit of resilience from Thomas Tuchel's side. However, a couple of great moves from the Spanish giants were their undoing. Following the game, the London club's manager was not too pleased at the manner in which the match official was seen laughing it out with Carlo Ancelotti. Manchester United have decided to bring in Erik ten Hag as their next permanent manager, and the Dutchman's arrival is going to coincide with a mass exodus, with a lot of players expected to leave the club this summer. United still haven't given up on retaining Paul Pogba, but his teammates are not just going to stand by and allow the Frenchman to enjoy a lucrative deal that he doesn't deserve. Against Chelsea, we saw what the young Eduardo Camavinga is capable of, and we need to discuss his performance against the Blues in what was a breathtaking affair. So you lot, you know the drill, hit this button and get ready for your daily dose of all things football. Before we get started, we want to share the sponsor of today's video. The OneFootball app is the ultimate football platform and is a must-have for every football fan so that you can follow all of your favourite leagues, teams and players all the time right from your phone. You can be sure to turn on notifications for specific players to be instantly alerted when they score a goal or when they are involved in other breaking news. It is the best and easiest way to stay up to date with everything football. Click the link in the description down below to download the app right now. You won't regret it. This summer, Manchester United will start a union with a new coach, and for the British press, there is no doubt that Erik ten Hag and the Red Devils will say yes. For better or for worse, the Dutch tactician will have the mission to collaborate with the Mancunians and help them return to the front of the stage, which will not be easy since the residents of Old Trafford have had disappointing seasons without a trophy. To achieve this, the English intend to conduct a very important transfer window. This will happen even if Man United fail to qualify for the next Champions League campaign. Thus, the Mancunian team already have several players in mind to satisfy the future coach. Declan Rice of West Ham, Calvin Phillips of Leeds, John McGinn of Aston Villa, Ruben Neves of Wolverhampton Wanderers, Moussa Dembele of Lyon, Richarlison of Everton, and finally Harry Kane are being followed very closely. According to our understanding, Manchester United intend to make alterations to almost all positions, while relying on a few players currently in the squad. According to the Manchester Evening News, 3 members of the current group are already entering into Ten Hag's plans. Arriving last summer, Rafael Varane and Jadon Sancho represent the future. Recently extended, despite a delicate season, Bruno Fernandes is also destined to be an essential pawn in the United squad for the 22-23 campaign. For the rest, the debate is open. The MEN explains that David De Gea, 31, will still be around next year, but under contract until 2023, the Spanish doorman could enter his last season in the jersey of the Red Devils. His style of play might also not be compatible with the one put on by Ten Hag. In great difficulty, Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw are not guaranteed to stay long-term at Old Trafford. In the middle too, with the departure of Paul Pogba at the end of the contract, it will be necessary to bring in new blood. Finally, in front, Cristiano Ronaldo has a good chance of packing up. The MEN claims that the Red Devils were no longer closed to a departure, in order in particular not to put pressure on the new coach with a player who wants to start every game. CR7 could therefore stay or leave in a year, but it's not with him that they will have to rebuild. The same goes for Cavani at the end of a contract, or Anthony Martial, who should go. On the other hand, the door will probably be closed for Marcus Rashford, whom the leaders want to keep. The change starts now in Manchester. United still want to keep Paul Pogba and have made him a huge offer to convince him to stay, except that this lucrative proposition is not really to the taste of the locker room. United are preparing their squad for next season. Yesterday we learnt from The Athletic that the English club have made Erik ten Hag their new coach. The Ajax technician will commit for 4 years according to the media, or 3 years according to the Telegraph. But what workforce will the new coach have available, while the Red Devils want to make changes in depth by taking some radical decisions? Then there's the tricky Paul Pogba case. The 29-year-old midfielder is coming to the end of his contract and doesn't really seem inclined to extend, and has already spoken of desires to go elsewhere. As we revealed to you at the start of the week, PSG are particularly interested in the idea of recovering a player of such calibre. And then, like Kylian Mbappe for example, he is from the Paris region, which is enough argument to bring him back. But United haven't had the last word. After turning down several offers, the Red Devils have made him an insane proposal of €480,000 a week, or almost €2 million a month, but with a bonus structure that could reach €600,000 a week. If Pogba accepts this offer, he would become the club's second highest player behind Ronaldo. Except that this information came back to the ears of the Mancunian locker room, and they didn't like it at all. The players believe that the Frenchman doesn't deserve such a salary since he spent a lot of time on the sidelines this season and no longer seems to be willing to be part of the project. The English media even speaks of a locker room mutiny if Pogba were to accept the proposal, especially when he himself implied that he wanted to leave. On the bench at kick-off last night against Chelsea, Eduardo Camavinga made a thunderous entry into play. Madrid is Champions League. This season again, the Merengues will be in the final four of the most beautiful European competition, which they've won 13 times. A cut with big ears that Eduardo Camavinga has dreamed of raising since a young age. Arriving last summer from Stade Rennais, the Frenchman, bought for €31 million, is therefore doing everything to put this new line on his list. Substitute at kick-off against Chelsea in the quarter-final second leg, the 19-year-old was helpless on the bench while his team was down 2-0. On the pitch, it was something else. Entering the game in the 73rd minute to replace an overwhelmed Toni Kroos and annoyed to leave, the French international perfectly met the expectations of Carlo Ancelotti despite Chelsea scoring a couple of minutes after his introduction. Without feeling any pressure, he brought impact, dynamism and his volume of play while going into battle in the middle against a Kante whom he muzzled well and closing the gaps defensively. Camavinga, who tried his luck, even played a role in the goals. Present in the recovery before the brilliant pass from Modric and the goal from Rodrigo, he then perfectly served Vinicius Jr., who then served Karim Benzema for the decider. A thunderous entry into play was duly hailed by the Santiago Bernabeu public. Naturally, the press was charmed by the player. Carlo Ancelotti was equally impressed by the teenager, who's often hailed as the club's present and its future. The young Frenchman needed a big game, and this was a perfect launching pad for him. It only gets better from here on in. Ultra dominating in the Champions League quarter-final return leg against Real Madrid, Chelsea thought that they'd done the hardest part by scoring 3 goals against the Spaniards. But that was without taking into account Real's enormous experience at this level, who managed to mount a comeback and to deliver the blow during extra time thanks to a goal from an inevitable Karim Benzema. A cruel elimination which risks leaving a bitter taste in the mouth of Thomas Tuchel for a long time. The German coach accused the match referee of being complacent towards Ancelotti's Real Madrid. I was disappointed to see the referee laughing so much with Carlo. When I wanted to go and thank him at the end of the match, he was laughing and having fun with the opposing coach. I think it's bad timing to do that after the final whistle and after 126 minutes in which a team gave their hearts. When you see the referee laughing with the opposing coach, it's a bad time, I told him, he said before mentioning a pro-Real Madrid arbitration. It's not from today, Tuesday. When you play against Real Madrid, maybe you don't expect everyone to be brave. I felt small decisions during the first leg and today, Tuesday, too. Clearly, Thomas Tuchel is not happy with the match officiating, and this is something a lot of people have noticed. Referees do tend to be slightly lenient and even forgiving towards Real Madrid. In the past, Manchester United, Atletico Madrid and Juventus have experienced this. However, we can't really discount this team's effort against Chelsea. Granted, the Blues took the game to them, but in the end, they were unable to manage the game as effectively as they should have. And when you give a team like Real Madrid a chance to sniff at you, you're normally the one who ends up being punished. And that's exactly what happened on Tuesday night.